So 2022 pond rehab. We're almost done. Couple 2 years and until we finally got an awesome crew to work on this. And now this is almost ready to start refilling. You can see it's already starting to do that on its own, but they're also still pumping out water down there and going up through a pipe up there and then down into the stream. So once that stops, we think it's actually going to be a pretty quick fill. I'm kind of sort of guessing it might be full by after this winter, even if we only get moderate rains, because there's lots of artesian springs that come into this, which was the big challenge of why they had to rent a massive machine to do it. They've made a nice surface here for our in quotes beach that is 4-inch round underneath, covered by river rock. So that should be pretty cool and comfortable on bare feet that are tough. And then we walk over here. This they had to strip out some vegetation that was growing here, which was, a lot of it was dead and a lot of it was blackberries. But in order to get that big, huge excavator in, they had to build islands, which I think you can, I mean islands, not really islands, but kind of outcroppings of dirt, and lots of dirt with trees under it and stuff like that, and logs. And then they really successfully mucked out, and now they've taken away the dirt ramps they built and flattened this out, so we'll be doing some appropriate landscaping around here, appropriate for the area we live. And so that'll be something that takes a couple of years. Then they've created this, I guess a sluice you might call it, to try and capture some of the muck so that periodically we can clean this out rather than this big construction excavation, which we probably would never do anyway in our lifetime. But here's this pool that was created in order to dry it out enough for them to work. And so now they decided that it would be a good idea, after some research with pond experts, to build a sluice here, and this will help capture the muck. And we'll see how this all grows in. Obviously we're going to have to do landscaping. Some stuff will just come back naturally. And meanwhile we have dogs that like to play in the sluice. This is what we call our secret garden area. And we're going to also put appropriate riparian landscape here. A lot of this had invasive blackberries and other invasive plants, and so we're going to replace it with what should be here. So you can see this big pile of rock. And then, so this will end up being some sort of a little decky area, kind of, probably. And we do expect we'll get some erosion over the years, but we're going to do what we can to replace the riparian area successfully. If you can see kind of where that edge is, that little concave edge around the edge of the pond, that's at least how high the water will get after the winter, most likely. And might get a little bit higher. Of course, we use this pond primarily for irrigation of the fields, which we haven't been able to do successfully for now. This is the third year because of this pond challenge where we had a leak in that tube that was going under the dam, and it was underwater, and there was a leak in the underwater portion. Basically it was rusted out. So that's what started this whole thing. And then here is a massive machine they had to bring in to do the work. $1,500 a day just to rent the machine, but it's sitting here now and ready to go, so we're not being charged for it anymore. So they've had to pull off so much muck. Here's one pile of it, and then we move down here. You can see that this is what we call our pond pasture. It's got great irrigation in it, but it's had lousy soil and mostly, had developed, especially after these past couple of years, into mostly weeds. And so they're going to be spreading this all out. It's going to be a bit challenging because for a while, until we get grass growing in it, which will, again, some will naturally come back, and I think possibly we'll do some seeding in March or something. And this should turn out to be a great either hay field where we could maybe get some of our own hay, or maybe just a great pasture for grazing. So this has been quite an adventure, and we will monitor and see how long it takes to fill up. Come on out and visit.